Back here again, man. Football Friday. I know it's been a tough week. I know it's been a long week of discussion. All you got to do is get back out there Sunday and somehow get a win. Does it solve everything? Not necessarily, but you feel better. You have that opportunity to do it Sunday. You face Jacksonville. They had a tough loss week one. They're back at home. Deshaun Watson, in his career, Ryan, has never lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I've got a stat right up for Deshaun heading into a familiar place to play Jacksonville. He was obviously in their division. In his career, he's never lost to Jacksonville. Is that trend going to continue? And maybe as important as the win, how does he look in the process of playing the Jacksonville Jaguars? We want to get the vibe of you this morning. How you feeling about Deshaun Watson as we get ready to go for Sunday? We'll do the deep dive to get ready to go. We'll introduce you to Jacksonville. We got the report card. We'll get to our picks. We start the week 1-0 last night. We got to talk Tua too, man. Oh, jeez. Talk Tua?
Talk Tua.
Talk to him? Talk Tua? Hawk Tua? Yeah. It sucks. It's not good for Tua Tagovailoa. We'll get to that coming up. Rough one for the guards yesterday. They're back in action tonight. We'll get after that. College slate, no Ohio State tomorrow. So we got some other bets to get you on the college slate. We'll get to the grid. We got the bracket, time hop, morning update, including that Twins catcher. Can you believe that story that came out? We'll get to that coming up at 10 o'clock. But we got it all on a beautiful, beautiful Football Friday right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. We're here Friday. High school tonight, college tomorrow, and of course, slate full on Sunday of the NFL. Big news for us, Ryan. I'll be watching in a different medium on Sunday. I've canceled cable. I'm going to YouTube TV. Big day. Big day. I'm excited. I'm thoroughly excited. I'm really excited to get going for Sunday. But again, Browns-Jacksonville, it's going to be a huge game for the Browns. And I've dubbed this a must-win. You know, another question, because I want to get to Watson, about if you view this game as a must-win game. You know, we brought that graph up earlier on the week about your record and falling to 0-2. And I think that record is not, or excuse me, that graph is not all-encompassing of falling to 0-2, because if you fall to 0-2 against two division opponents, that's got to be a worse percentage, things like that. You fought 0-2. You drop down to about a 30% chance of making the playoffs. And I know there's a lot of football to be played. This is an AFC opponent. But as we saw with what the Browns did on Sunday versus Dallas, which wasn't very much, what you have to start to believe is that there's got to be positives to be taken out. You know, when we do the good, the bad, and the ugly, there are games that I'm really pulling teeth to try to find positives. You can't let this start to slip down the hill. You know, I feel like we're on this slope right now, and we're like one thing away, and it could be a Watson suspension. We'll talk about the latest update on that, to just send you barreling down this hill towards 6-11 and struggling the rest of the year. That's kind of the reason why I look at Sunday to say it's, yes, a win, but I'm going to need some of these things to start showing me something, right? It's one game. I get it. But the receivers, not overly impactful. I know Jerome Ford is not Nick Chubb. We were not really able to run the football in that game. You know, defensively, you had nice plays here and there. Miles was in the backfield. You got exposed on some things. Now you're battling some injuries with some rotational guys. Borderline starter with Shelby Harris. Juan Thornhill, certainly a starter. Not out there for the defense. There are things I just need to see the tide turn a little bit here. I feel like we're going this way. It's not a good way to go. I just need that little turn. Now, I need that to come in a win. And I don't like pulling things out of defeat. You lost, right? That's not what you want to do. But, Ryan, I don't feel like the Browns have a lot going for them right now. After a preseason that was quiet, which was nice, you came out, you played the first game, didn't go your way. I just need them to start feeling like themselves. I don't feel like that game on Sunday felt like a Browns game. You know, when you hear Sean McDermott last night, which I'm sure he was all excited, he said, we played our brand of football. We played the way that we needed to play to, frankly, destroy the Dolphins. And once Tua got hurt, that game was over. But I need the Browns to get back to what they want to do. when you look at the elite teams in the NFL and the ones that I hoped the Browns could consider themselves a group of, they are the ones that dictate things. They are the ones that force other teams to change what they're doing for them. I want to see the Browns do that on Sunday, impose some of their will on Jacksonville. And again, I'm a Trevor Lawrence polished and all that. Jacksonville is a very beatable team. And, okay, so they lost to Miami. They had Miami on the ropes last week. Did you watch that game last night? Even with Tua in there, did Miami look all that good? Now, they had some bad mistakes, interceptions that cost them drives early and all that. That one drive there was pretty methodical. They went up and down the field. But, does Miami look like the world beater you thought they were going to be, even with Tua in there? So now I'm going to start qualifying that win that they had over Jacksonville. Or saying, Jacksonville had him on the ropes. Maybe Miami's not all that good. I'm grabbing the straws right now. And I get it. And I'm trying to rip some pieces out to get ready for this game to circle the areas where I say that is where the Browns have got to make some hay. That is where this game is going to be won or lost. And so many things as I get ready for this game come back to controllable things with the Browns. Number one, unequivocally, is what, Ryan? Just say the answer. Anytime I go to you, just say this one person.
Deshaun
That
Watson?
is correct. That is the number one thing. Right.
I was getting tricked.
Oh, no, I was not trying to trick you. The one thing in the Browns' control and Deshaun Watson's control is how he plays. Then I talk about routes. Then I talk about penalties. Then I talk about the self-inflicted issues that the Browns had. You cinch some of those up, and I think we got a real good chance to win that game on Sunday. I do.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game you should win. And if you would have asked me, preseason, I would have said the Browns are a better team. Now that might be a little bit closer of a gap given what I saw week one. In week one, the Jaguars should have won that game. That Travis Etienne fumble was unacceptable. They should have beat the Dolphins. And like you said, the Dolphins yesterday, they didn't look good. But yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily want to call it a must-win game, but that's me basing that off of your next 3 games after this. The Giants, Commanders, Raiders
all winnable.
Are 100%, not even just winnable, inexcusably you cannot lose that game.
Sure.
And I know we talk about you lose a game you shouldn't and you win a game you shouldn't, but the way they started yesterday, the way they feels like yesterday, the way they started last week, you can't afford to drop one of those games.
There's 2 ways you think about it. Either that game felt like it was 4 months ago or you felt like it was yesterday. And I feel like for the Browns, I'm with you. It's feel like it's just like everything this week that just got bottled up, the injuries, all that other stuff. As it goes, it felt like it stuck with us so bad because of how they played that it sticks with you and you feel like they played yesterday. And they're the ones that got to flip that script and come on back and get ready to go for Sunday and clean up a lot of things. I mean, that game looked like a game of a team that didn't play a lot in the preseason. And I know there were some stats out there about quarterbacks that did play in the preseason and ones that didn't and how they play. I think that's all very individual. But there were some guys that looked rusty, and I'm not even talking about Deshaun Watson. There were other guys out there making mistakes. You got that game under your belt, and one thing for Watson about getting that game under his belt is the pocket presence better. You're going to get so sick of me saying that and bringing it up, and I'm not going to let it go. I am not going to let it go until he shows me that he has recaptured that. Because of all of the things that I think go wrong, I just keep coming back to the one thing that he is not feeling the pocket. He's not feeling the pressure. He's getting time. When he does get time, he's evading. He's not seeing guys. I just really think that is the key to unlocking it all.
Yeah, no, it 100% is, because as much as we talk about, I gave blame to the O-line, some blame. I gave some, I called the play calling stale at best, which it was, but that doesn't still change the fact that with Deshaun Watson having the better pocket presence that you're talking about, that is able to make everything else improved. Like Joe Thomas, I heard him talk about it. When you have a quarterback that's evading clean pockets, your linemen sometimes, they don't know where they are. Their quarterback is. When your quarterback tends to be mobile and run out, sometimes it's hard for the guys up front to truly know where Deshaun Watson is. Yeah. Which in turn where they need to be to protect him. And especially when he's avoiding clean pockets, well, what does it do? It confuses those linemen. They don't really know what to do at that point.
Yeah, and it's also a guy that's not played a lot for them to get a lot of experience in how he is. And that's something, remember, we talked about that a lot last year. There were questions to Posick and Teller and Jed Wills at the time, like, how do you handle having a running quarterback? And they go, well, we're going to have to get used to it. Well, what'd you get, 5 games last year or whatever? So well, technically 6, I think, or whatever.
Flacco looked pretty movable to me.
Wow. I mean, for an old guy, yeah. And now it's funny. I'm starting to see Joe Flacco's name get thrown around about what Miami's going to do. Are they going to have to go get Jimmy? Actually, the one, and Armando Salguero, who's covered the Dolphins for a long time, he actually says Dolphins need to go get Jimmy Garoppolo. But he's suspended, isn't he?
He is.
I think it's only like 2 games maybe or something like that. But obviously he's run off the Shanahan system, which is what Mike McDaniel does there. Is it Shanahan? I thought he was with McVay. I guess McVay is off Shanahan, right? They were all together in Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like all that same tree. But I saw them having to go get Jimmy Garoppolo. We'll talk about 2 in a second. The latest thing on the Watson lawsuit situation. So obviously this is all pushed back now a couple of weeks. Do you see Rusty Harden is defending one of the people in the Titan submersible thing?
What is that?
When the Titanic thing, when the sub exploded?
Oh, I thought you were referring to the football team in Tennessee.
No, not Titan. No. They are very immersible, or whatever I guess you want to put there. I had nothing quick and witty to say there. Sorry. I just thought about Will Levis. I don't think Will Levis is very good. But anyway, no, so he's actually in that Titan submersible thing. He's defending, or he's representing one of the families. So he's like, I got to go to Washington for important hearings on that whole thing. So everything's pushed back a couple of weeks. The biggest news that came out yesterday is that they have a pertinent video related to this whole thing. Now, I say this as we have all discussed. I don't know. Wasn't there. I've got no idea. What is the video?
No idea.
Because the first thing that you would think of is it's a video inside of the house or the apartment that they were in. And people have security cameras and all that. Just placing my bet. I just think it's a Ring camera video.
I do too.
And it's him. And so here's the thing. He cannot, if that is true, he cannot establish that I don't know this girl. I was not in the apartment. That's step 1 of this whole thing. And as Lisa Frio's not going to interview Watson this week, she is supposed to talk to him and the defendant or the accuser in a couple of weeks and get that all figured out. Like, okay, and does this just come back to a settlement thing? Does this just come back to a settlement? Then I read something yesterday, and again, all this stuff is conjecture, and we don't actually know, and I'm just throwing it out there because it's out there, that this was one of the cases that was unsettled from the original group. Because remember, he settled like 20 of the 24. And then another one came a couple of months later. Like, as this whole process is going on, is this part of that initial group? Is this one that the Browns knew about that just hasn't been settled? And is he just going to cut that check and move forward? I don't know. You know, the pertinent video part, this is all establishing. What is Tony Busby trying to do right now? He is trying to get all of this information out to posture his position that this is unwinnable for Deshaun Watson and Rusty Harden. And he wants that out in the public opinion and the public eye because this is a very big story. So they're almost, you ever go haggle with somebody? You ever go buy something and you go haggle?
I'm not very good at that. I get nervous and I fold.
So there's a lot of things. It's like come with your first offer, best offer, as opposed to like a negotiation, right? You come out strong with this is the best I got and we'll go from there. I think that might be what they're trying to do on the defensive side to say, we're coming out with everything we got. We're going to hit you with, why would they leak it now that there's a pertinent video? What does that do for them? It sways the opinion of the public. And it shouldn't matter in the court of law, but that's important stuff that's coming out. Why didn't they just hold on to that? Why didn't they just say, well, when we get to court, we've got a video here to show you? Whatever that video may or may not be. Who knows? I have no idea. But they're trying to get to Watson and his people to shake it up here and probably just try to get a settlement.
Now, will we get to see that video?
I doubt it very highly. Well, I'll tell you this. For sometimes as bad as TMZ is, and for as big a pieces of crap as TMZ is, they get their hands on that stuff, and they pay good money.
They do.
Do you want to know the one that's so sad? It's morbid. I don't mean to bring it on. They got pictures inside the school of that last school shooting.
Yeah.
Why do you post that? And I know why. I didn't click on it because I don't want to see that. That is one of the most terrible things, and honestly, it's a fear I have having kids every single day, to be honest with you. It's sad. It's sad. But They get all of it. They get everything of that.
Yeah, they were on the Kobe crash.
All of it, right? Yeah, and that's what they've made. So I would imagine that video only gets released, and maybe that's the next play here from Tony Busby is to release. But it's like if it's just a Ring camera video of him walking into the apartment, they'll release that. There's no point in it. There's no bother in it. And all it does is establish him in the apartment and the time and all that. I don't know. That's where they're all figuring this kind of stuff out. And it comes back to the mental side of Deshaun Watson. We heard it from Joel Bitonio. We heard it from Kevin Stefanski. We heard it from Watson himself, that he's being laser focused. He's in the building. He's getting ready for Jacksonville. That stuff has to creep in at some point. And it's not that he steps onto the football field and is thinking about that. I'm sure he's got other things on his mind. But like all of that has to factor in going into Sunday. Let's talk about Watson. I do want to post this as our Twitter question this morning. You can always follow on Twitter X at Matt Fontana Show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also up on Twitch, and you can follow on Instagram. What do you expect out of Deshaun Watson on Sunday? A, improvement. B, same as last week. Or C, worse. That's it. 3 options. What are you expecting out of Deshaun Watson on Sunday against Jacksonville? Are you expecting to see some improvement? Are you expecting him to play like he did last week? Or you think somehow he could get worse? I'm already going to call the responses of, there's no way he could play worse than he did last week. Oh, no, there is. Trust me. Oh, there's a way. And I've seen it with some of the quarterbacks that have come through here. So post that on Twitter at Matt Fontana Show. To cast the first vote this morning, I expect improvement. And I'm going to keep expecting improvement until he's not the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns anymore. That is a dangerous game to play because I'm going to be the captain on this ship, I guess, and I'm going to go down with the ship if I need to. And I'm not one of these cheerleaders for Deshaun, and I'm not somebody that's telling you unequivocally he's going to turn it around. It's just as the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns with the situation we're in, I've got no choice but to keep believing that he is going to improve. And eventually we might get to a place where it bashes me over the head and it's unequivocal that he's not going to get any better and that he truly is washed. Well, when we get there, I'll let you know that. We're not there yet. As much as people feel like the sky is falling, you still have games to go. You still have room for improvement. So with that, I've got to believe that there's room for it. And again, marginal improvement. Don't throw 2 interceptions, just throw 1. You know, all that little, however you want to look at it, statistically, the win, all that. I expect improvement on Sunday. And I'm going to keep expecting it until I can't anymore. So I got to go
expect some improvement. I mean, as bad as he was week 1, that's reps that he needed. So that he has that going for him. Into week 2,
I believe in a lot of that.
You're playing a weaker defense. Not that Jacksonville is some shell, but they don't have a Micah Parsons. Yes, Josh Hines-Allen is very good.
Right.
But I think we can all agree Jacksonville's defense is no world beater compared to Dallas's. I mean, and if somehow he does play worse, then listen, I'm not totally going to be there, but I'll be about ready to flush the season down the toilet because let's be real, if you look worse in week 2 against a worse defense, even though you're on the road, something's wrong, and this season is going to be very, very long.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's, you just got to, and the other thing comes back to Stefanski on, so here's the other thing about improvement real quick. The improvement that we see can be very different from the improvements that Kevin Stefanski and Ken Dorsey sees. You know what I mean? Like, we could watch a throw that's like immaculate, perfect, and they actually come back and they go, you know what? You missed your read over here. You had a better one over here. We'd rather take that. And then vice versa, there could be throws that, you know, I think we could all watch the game and know, man, that was a hell of a play, or they just really got you on that one. The improvement of what Kevin Stefanski sees will always be more important than the improvement that you and I see on Sundays. And again, it's all got to come back to what? Winning football. That's what you got to get to. Here's the thing about Deshaun. So I mentioned the stat a little bit earlier. Shout out to, I think Tom Withers contributed to this on ESPN, their game preview. And we'll run through a lot of this. We'll get to the morning update. We'll get ready to go here. Deshaun Watson in his career against Jacksonville, of course, was in their division for a long time. He is 6-0 as a starter. In those 6 games, almost 2,000 yards. That's 327 yards a game. 8 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions and 2 rushing touchdowns. Now, that goes back to a Jacksonville Blake Bortles team, probably, right? Like, that goes back years against Jacksonville. And I got a lot of that in the Twitter inbox this morning already of like, what does that matter? It's been so long. I get it. But there's got to be a little semblance of facing a team that you go, I've kind of owned these guys before. You get that in like baseball. Even though things change over, you see teams and you're just like, I play well against these guys, or we don't. But I think there's got to be a little familiarity with Watson going back. Did you see what they're doing with the stadium? Trevor Bank. So it's Everbank Stadium, and with a collab with Trevor Lawrence, it's TR Ever Bank Stadium. That is one of the, and I've seen a lot of corny crap. That is terrible. That is awful. Huntington Bank Field is much better.
I saw the sign.
What?
On the way to work. Oh. No. On the way to work, it says Huntington Bank Field now.
They're busting ass to get that up. By the way, can I make a city of Cleveland reference or alert, if you will? Stay the hell away from downtown tonight. You want to know what's tonight?
Wait, don't tell me. Is it a concert of some sort?
Yeah.
Is it at Rocket Mortgage?
No.
Is it at? Well, where is it at?
Stadium.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who's playing?
Rod Stewart and Billy Joel's tonight.
Oh.
The big hey, they've never been together before. I ain't knocking Billy Joel. People are yelling at me for that. I can't knock Billy Joel. I ain't knocking Billy Joel. I'll get on John Mellencamp all day. Not quite my thing. Bruce Springsteen, not right there. Okay, fine. I can't crap on Billy Joel. I don't think you can crap on Billy Joel. But there tonight. So a little PSA for people. If you're not going to the concert, I would highly recommend staying away from downtown Cleveland tonight. Yes. It's going to be packed. It's going to be packed. You want to know tickets for that tonight?
I will say $180.
To get in?
Yeah.
Oh, God. You know what else is tonight? Nicki Minaj.
In Cleveland?
Yeah, because we were supposed to be there.
At Rocket?
Yeah.
Wow.
I bought my wife tickets. We ended up not going.
They scheduled both of those on the same day?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, buddy. You're right.
Which would you rather go to, Nicki Minaj?
Oh, Nicki Minaj, yeah. Again, there's
Why is that, Matt?
I actually know more of her songs than Rod Stewart and Billy Joel.
Why is that, Matt?
Because my wife loves Nicki Minaj. My wife considers herself the white version of Nicki Minaj. She's got a fat ass. I don't know what to tell you. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, she does. In a good way. I'm not saying a bad way. Some of them get a little too. Kim Kardashian is too much.
Nah.
That's too much.
Ain't no thing.
Megan Thee Stallion, little too much.
Nah.
I think Nicki is close, but.
So you've studied their butts?
How can you? We've all seen them, Ryan. Don't sit over there and act like you haven't seen them.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So we actually had tickets for that tonight, and then she ended up going to Vegas. She's like, I'd rather do that thing, and she already saw Nicki on this tour. Oh my gosh, dude, what? There's only 1% of tickets left, bro. I'll get you in the door for $32 tonight.
Probably.
It's nosebleed. Yeah, it's $516, but you're in the building. You get to the floor for $250. That didn't seem that crazy.
Oh, this is for Nicki? Or
No. Billy Joel and Rod Stewart. Get on the floor. I sold the Nicki tickets for that price. $255. I'll get you on the floor. A4, 2 tickets. Yeah, you're on the floor in row 23. If you really wanted to go. Wow, I thought it'd be a lot more than that. I thought it'd be a lot more than that for this concert tonight. And they say only 1% of tickets are left, but I see a vast amount there. So, a little PSA, stay away from downtown. That's where we're at. Tackle situation. It seems like Jack Conklin is ready to go for this. There were reports he was running with the first team yesterday at left tackle. Ryan, I've almost adopted. I'm not going to believe anything until I see the inactives come out Sunday and I get an idea who was actually starting. Yeah. And that comes back to, like, I want Conklin to be out there to give a little, like, confidence boost to Deshaun Watson. And we'll get into this when we get into Jacksonville. Obviously, Josh Hines-Allen is the one to look at, but you can't forget about Trayvon Walker. And he did not have a good game last week, and the PFF grades aren't great and all that kind of stuff. And he's actually gotten off to a bit of a slow start for his career, was he not the first overall pick?
He was.
He was. And, again, he's not even Josh Hines Allen. He's not Myles Garrett. But you have a complimentary pass rush there that could present some problems. Now, again, you assume DeJuan Jones should be able to get after Trayvon Walker. You assume Josh Hines Allen going to be on the other side against Jack Conklin. But I can't believe anything until I actually find out about Sunday. The Browns have a better idea that they probably already know. That's good for them, gives me solace at night about who's going to start. But I got to have Jack Conklin out there in some semblance. But again, I'm asking a guy that played all of one game last year, and he's coming off of injury. I don't think it's quite that easy just to throw him back in there and say, let's get after it.
Yeah, you have to bet right now. Does Conklin play or not?
Yes, he's got to. He's got to. I would put that bet. I would actually probably... Oh, if we had our own sports book here, I'm going to say it's like minus 300 he plays.
Oh, okay.
You think it's that much, or do you don't think it's that much?
I don't think it's that much.
You think it's closer? 50-50? Minus 125, maybe, something like that?
I would say minus 125.
All right, minus 125. I mean, I take that. I think he's going to get back in there, but what does he look like when he's in there? Guys have played all preseason.
If he's in there, I have all the confidence in the world.
Because then you don't have Njoku to block. They're going to elevate Jeff Swaim, sure. You're only going to have 2 tight ends. You don't have a fullback anymore. And you're also going to look at these running backs to say, you guys have got to pick up your pass pro on this. Like, if you're going to go all in on this 11 personnel that we saw ad nauseum, that we're going to see with Deshaun Watson, that's what he runs. Ryan, what are you sacrificing by running that? You are sacrificing your protection. Now, you're going to ask your 5 linemen, which, again, the Browns have an above average, maybe still one of the best lines in football.
When healthy,
to hold their water and do their job. But it's the other stuff. Are you going to chip Josh Hines Allen with the tight end? I all of a sudden got really concerned about not having David Njoku in the pass routes out there, man. I got all of a sudden that just kind of hit me that you're losing that thread in the passage, and in the concepts and all the things that they want to run. Let alone you're losing them. So I'm gonna have Jordan. This isn't a shot at Jordan Akins, man. I'm not really trying to do this. You're gonna have him out there doing that, trying to play a David Njoku role. Anyway. You're going to ask these running backs to have to step up too and handle a little bit of that defensive rush there from Jacksonville. All right, we've talked about it a little bit. We went to their side. We went to our side. It is time to go to school. Let's do Friday Report Card. If you were a coach, would you wear a visor or a hat like Doug Peterson or Kevin Stefanski? I would go hat. I'm not a big visor guy. See, the visor.
Well, to be honest, it depends on what my colors are.
Oh, yeah, you're
because I'm not going to wear like a yellow visor.
Yeah. I don't like visors. I get because you want like the shade, but you want to like be able to, if it's really hot out, a visor. I don't own a visor. I have many hats. I don't own a single visor.
I have a lot of visors.
I don't. I'm out on the visor. But we start with the quarterbacks, and this is very clearly edged towards Trevor Lawrence. Now, this was just one game. Yes. You go back to their careers, though. A lot of hype for both them. They've seen each other in the past. But I think if you were to ask yourself the question, who would you rather have moving forward, the question is very clearly Trevor Lawrence, and we have to give the edge to the quarterback here.
Yeah, it's definitely Trevor Lawrence, and I'm just still waiting for Trevor Lawrence to really wow me. I mean, this kid was the cat's rear end coming out of high school, right? Goes to Clemson, has all the success in the world, and while he hasn't been a bust by any means, he hasn't quite lived up to that. Now, if you saw last week, I mean, he still had some good throws. Their game plan, they ran away from the run. I wasn't sure. I don't really put that on Trevor Lawrence, but I'm just waiting for that season where he completely wows us.
And the other thing that's crazy, you want this to settle in for a second for Trevor Lawrence? He turns 25 next month.
Yeah, he's not old.
He's got plenty of time. There are guys that get drafted around his age, and he's ready to go. So there's still a lot that you got to understand with Trevor Lawrence. I think the biggest thing when you look at his career, 59 touchdowns to 39 interceptions. And if you want to take out his rookie season, let's take out his rookie season for a second. He has 47 touchdowns to just 22 interceptions. Yeah. You got a 2-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, he had a horrible rookie year.
I know. And again, you take the rookie year out of it. Touchdowns and interceptions. He doesn't turn the football over all that much. You know, when you talk about all these other guys that fumble and all that kind of stuff, But here's the thing: when it goes bad, it goes bad. And a lot of the games that they struggle in, it's very clearly when when Trevor Lawrence is throwing interceptions. He's coming off back-to-back seasons, 95 rating, 88 last year, and as you have there through one game, just a 97 total QBR rating on that one. His average is insane. He averages near 7 yards per completion in his career. He was near 8 last week. They pushed the ball. He's got the arm to make all the throws. What am I, though, Ryan? A Trevor Lawrence apologist. I'm a lot of things. That's one of them. So I'm a big believer in that guy. And again, a career completion percentage of over 63. That's about average in today's NFL, but he's got the total package. And the other thing, they're going to throw it. You know, when you look at 21 pass attempts a week ago, I feel like they usually throw it more than that.
Well, that's what I was just saying. The second half, they completely went away from it. They gave 0 targets to Brian Thomas Jr. in the second half. Made no sense.
No, wait a minute. 564.
What are you doing?
Last year, and maybe I shouldn't be shocked by this number. Over the past 2 years, he's averaged almost 35 pass attempts a game.
I don't think that's
crazy.
Is
that too much? Am I old school here in that thinking?
You are.
It's not that crazy? Maybe because I haven't had quarterbacks, so
Dak
we've had to
be
drop
throwing the ball 50 times last year.
I guess, yeah. But 35 pass attempts for his career. You're going to have to get after. You know, the other thing that we kind of forget about, Trevor can run. He's got 9 rushing touchdowns over his last 2 years. It's not Josh Allen type. It's more of like when he's in the red zone and everything's covered, he can make things go. You know the run that sticks in my craw, buddy.
Chad Henne?
No, the Trevor Lawrence run that sticks in my craw.
Oh, I don't care about the Buckeyes, so. That was in the back of my mind.
When he's freer him up the sideline, the whole time I'm screaming, I go, somebody got to tackle him. And he's like, God.
Maybe you should QB spy.
What's that?
Maybe you should throw on a QB spy.
Something. Maybe that's something the Browns are going to have to do for Sunday.
Poor Buckeyes.
So,
God, their lack of success.
Yeah, we suck. We're just so bad.
You guys are so miserable.
I will admit about being an Ohio State fan, it's the closest that I can get to insufferable, Boston fans and I would say sufferable New York fans. At
least you're self-aware.
But I think I'm very self-aware, and I'm not pompous about it. We've had an amazing run of success, and I don't flaunt it to people. I don't sit there and try to be like, oh my God, we haven't won a national championship. I know they're a really good team, and I just expect them to do whatever. I don't need to flaunt it.
Right.
I feel like Boston fans, they flaunt it. They're really annoying about that. But for me, I'm just I'm just self-aware when it comes to the Buckeyes. But Trevor Lawrence, still that run, just up the sideline. And I just go out of bounds. Somebody hit him out of bounds. Anyway, we know for Deshaun Watson, the completion percentage, the pressure, more than anything, and we'll get to the defenses here in a second, Ryan, this has got to come down to you got to keep some pressure off him. Now, I know the stats would tell you he had time to throw last week. But when it comes back to Watson, the pocket presence, time to throw, hands in his face, that's going to be my biggest thing for Sunday for sure.
Yeah, just don't panic, please.
That's an important part of it. All right, so the rest of the teams on the Friday report card, you see how we do it here. One side's the Browns, the other side is Jacksonville. We start with head coach. This was a debate with us this morning.
A little bit.
Because Doug Peterson, he's got one, man. He's got a ring. Seems a long time ago. And I said that when Philly let him go. And I know there was very contentious, Foles and Wentz, and he had kind of burned out his welcome there in Philly. I'm a big Doug. I think Doug Peterson's a really good coach. And I think Kevin Stefanski's an elite coach. I think Doug Peterson's really close. Here's the edge why we went Cleveland, Ryan. Who's on the hot seat this year? Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson is. So we went with the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, I think Doug Peterson's a great coach as well. Obviously, he has the Super Bowl win, but I thought he was going to make the playoffs last year. Maybe he will this year, but I'll go Stefanski.
Yeah, we'll go Stefanski on that one. To the wide receivers we go. This is probably maybe a little bit of a bigger up for debate, but really what swayed me was Brian Thomas Jr. He's just a rookie, but he came out as the 14th rated PFF wide receiver in the entire NFL. Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk.
Gabe Davis is hot garbage. Stop that. Stop that.
Sure, but
Christian Kirk, I'll give you.
So let's say
Gabe Davis is hot
Cooper
trash.
is the best receiver, or at least should be, right?
Yes.
But then I would probably take the group of Thomas, Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk over Elijah Moore, Jerry Jeudy, and Ced Tillman,
yeah,
right?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just wanted to get that on the ethos that Gabe Davis is hot garbage.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Now, we also factor in tight ends in this, and Evan Ingram, who didn't have a great game in week 1, but had a really stellar season last year. He is very clearly over Jordan Akins. That sways us again, wide receivers, tight ends on that one.
Yep.
To running back we go. Got to go Travis Etienne. I mean, I know he fumbled that ball at the goal line last week, but you take him on almost any team at this point. And I think he's a great complement to what they want to do there on the offensive side of things. He's had 2 stellar seasons, too. He's near 80 PFF grade over the last 2 years. They don't need him to run as much, but he can get out in the pass part of things. He can be an explosive guy. Travis Etienne, over Jerome Ford is a very clear answer on that one.
Yeah, I have no co-signed, retweet, everything you just said.
There it is. To the offensive line, let's introduce ourselves to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we start at left tackle, Cam Robinson. Now, last week, solid, but he's battling a knee injury, and he's been battling it all through camp and in there now. He's going to go up against Myles Garrett, who he's seen before. Now, the thing about Cam Robinson last week, facing a Miami defense that is injured, they don't have Jaleb Phillips, no Bradley Chubb. He did have an 81 pass block grade a year ago off of a week ago off of PFF. So he's solid. Ezra Cleveland is their left guard. He's fine. Mitch Morse, their center, might actually be their best offensive lineman, former Buffalo Bill. The longtime guard, Brandon Sheriff, is their right guard. Their worst tackle is Anton Harrison. He is their right tackle. That should be Zadarius Smith. Do you like a Zadarius Smith sack for this weekend?
You got one last week.
You like it again going up against Anton Harrison?
I hope so. I think if we need to win this game.
What about a little Obo Okoronkwo? What about a little Obo Okoronkwo on that? You like it?
I would prefer Zadarius. But
hang on. Player to record a sack.
I'd go
Miles minus 140.
What is Shelby Harris?
He's not on here.
What about Dalvin?
Oh, no, Maurice Hurst is hurt.
Yeah,
the only 2 guys I have for the Browns on Bet365 is Miles and Zadarius. Zadarius is plus 170 to record a sack.
Okay.
So,
possibly.
I like that as a little boost. To throw it in there. Because, again, Harrison is their worst offensive lineman. As far as it goes, again, the Browns are still top 10. The Jags aren't that bad. They really aren't. No, and they're about middle of the pack. They have the potential to be playing a little bit better, but they're also going to face what should be a better pass rush than what they got from Miami a week ago.
Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville, if you have a good quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over and you have good coaching and then you have the skill players that we mentioned, they're always going to be a decent team at the very worst.
Yep, to the defense we go. We gave the edge to the Browns because I think there's few teams that this would really be a debate for. And I don't see Jacksonville being this all-world beater, but they got a front 7 that's good. We talked about Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, their D tackles, Roy Robertson Harris, and then former Ohio State Buckeye Devon Hamilton on the other side. And then don't forget about Eric Armstead, too. That'll be out there for them. Linebackers are solid. They have Oluokwan, who just gets 1,000 tackles a year. Their actually best defender a week ago was Devin Lloyd. Their linebacker, former first-round pick. He graded as the 6th best off-ball linebacker a week ago. So he was pretty solid. Defensively, Ronald Darby, the number 1 corner. Safety's not that good with Antonio Johnson. And then the worst-rated safety on PFF a week ago was Andre Sisco, their other starter. So again, I talked about the seam trying to get up there with Njoku. It's not a world-beating secondary on that. We should have some openness for Deshaun Watson to be able to make some plays coming up on Sunday.
I sure hope so, Matt. That's the goal.
It's got to be there. So overall, we add this all up. Even?
Yeah, I would say
little edge maybe to Cleveland?
It being on the road, it's even.
You know, you see there 3-2.
Nah, actually.
What?
I'll take that back.
All right, taking them back here.
Edge to Jacksonville. How can I not be? How can I not get the edge of Jacksonville right now?
Look at that right there.
I don't care.
3-2.
Because what does it come?
But then they got the quarterback.
Doesn't matter.
They got the quarterback.
That's all that matters. It really.
Edge
that's all that matters.
I think edge is Jacksonville.
I agree.
I very clearly. I'm with you on that. So little edge to Jacksonville, but areas that are winnable, areas that are vitally important for the Browns to take advantage of on Sunday, and I hope they do it. We will get to our Browns pick at the end of the show, but we got the rest of the picks for you. Ryan's go around the league. Win some freaking money. Let's go. You see my tweet about garage beer yesterday? You see him right there on the screen. So we have my nephew, one of my nephews. Actually, both of my nephews, well, not both, but one of my nephews is in the fall. So every year we have a birthday party on a Brown Sunday for him. And, it's my family, so everybody's like, my brother-in-law really likes to smoke meat, so he's making all the food. My wife's bringing the salad. You know me, Uncle Matt, I'm bringing the beer. I don't want to make anything. I don't want to get lined up for anything. So you know what I did yesterday? I walked right in that store, and I would give me a 12-pack of that delicious garage beer, baby. Right? I didn't take this one.
Did you get lime or the regular?
No, I got regular. And here, I've told you about this, about garage beer, right? So we went to our golf outing. I brought my other brother-in-law. And we had a couple garage beers, and he looks at me. He goes, dude, these are phenomenal.
Be hitting.
And I'm not going to talk ill on any other light beers out there. But he goes, it seems like you either get wide end of the spectrum. One that's too watery, one that's like too skunked. And he goes, here's garage beer, baby. Right there in the middle. So it's funny. I got the 12-pack. I got home. And my wife goes, why did you get that? Because Todd's going to drink all of them before anybody else. And I was like, he's drinking 12 at our nephew's birthday party. I mean, it is a Brown Sunday. We'll see how it goes.
Big garage beer
Picked up, dude. I love it. We picked it up. And I'm excited because now the rest of my family is like getting on board with it.
Yeah.
I really think that this is a groundswell wildfire that's about to take over for people. And again, I enjoy my IPAs. And I'll have one of those. But if you're looking for a light, easy drinker for a Brown Sunday, garage beer is where it's at, man. They had the nice Kelsey display when I picked it up at the store yesterday. Padone tweeted at me. He goes, they ain't going to make it through the UFC fight tomorrow night. And I go, I already got mine in the fridge, buddy. This is just for the party.
Who fights tomorrow?
It's Sean O'Malley and Dalavishi. I can't stand Sean O'Malley. Okay. I think he's a piece of crap.
Oh, my buddy I know is listening right now. He's going to throw a fit.
He's going to hate me.
That. He's a big Sugar Sean guy.
I get it. I get the hype. I just don't like the guy. I don't know.
It's because he's a Irish ginger, so he got to.
Sean O'Malley's not Irish,
but
he's
he got to stand up. He got to
American.
stand up for Sugar Sean.
I don't like it. But so you want to know the other thing about this fight? So this one tomorrow night, we should get our picks for that later. I can give you some picks for that. This one tomorrow night is at the Sphere. So they were all freaking out. It's the first UFC fight at the Sphere.
Wow.
Bro, they didn't sell anything. They still have tickets that are available. They got deals online to buy the fight and all that kind of stuff. Dana's kind of crapping himself right now. And I think maybe it's a little because O'Malley isn't quite the draw. Then the co-main event is Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. Shevchenko cleared the division. She was like one of the best female fighters. Alexa Grasso tapped her out last time.
Oh.
So, little rematch here. I'm going to take bullet in that one, Shevchenko. And then another great one that could be for a title fight eventually in the featherweight. Brian Ortega, T-City. And then Diego Lopez. He's great. To be honest with you, other than that, man, it's not that great of a card. It's not that great of a card.
So I shouldn't waste my money?
No, I probably not. I don't know if I'm even going to stay up for it. I beg the UFC, why can't you just give me a package that I can buy all? You know what I mean? Like, give it where, even if it's $400 for the year, I'll pay that so I can get all of the pay-per-views. Where it's like, I'm interested enough to watch it, I ain't paying $70 for it. So I'll probably just wake up and see what happens on Sunday. But that all being said, they haven't announced it yet. But that Stipe card, alleged that they might actually, there's a lot of scuttle that they might announce it this weekend because they're in time for it. So they've announced this is their big, about the UFC, they do numbered cards. So like this is 306, then they'll do 307, and they do fight nights and all that. But a lot of times they announce the next big numbered card at these kind of ones. The next one up is the alleged Stipe John Jones fight, which will be in November at Madison Square Garden.
Don't get your hopes up.
That card is shaping up to be pretty nice. But like you said, I just probably will be disappointed.
Yes.
It's probably just going to go bad. But I don't know. I was not disappointed last week in our picks. Let's go. I was last week a very solid.
What was I?
I don't know. I thought you said you were going to pull the graphic one.
I couldn't find it.
Oh.
And I ran out of time. That's on me. Sorry, you have to do math.
We'll be all up.
Wait, do you want what you were last week?
I was 10-4-1.
Yeah.
I was 10-4.
I have our scores from last week.
That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
I just need our scores from last week.
This was us last week. No,
that's all I need. Yeah.
Well, this was before the Monday night game.
Right. You won that. So you went 7-7-1.
Who played Monday?
49ers.
Oh, yeah.
49ers. So we both won that.
Yeah.
And we were short a game because we forgot to do one of the games. Remember, we forgot to do the Charger.
Yeah. You're right.
So that's why we only have 15.
So you're 10-4-1.
I'm 10-4-1. You went 7-7-1 last week, and we both started off last night with a win. We both took Buffalo. I came in yesterday.
I need receipts. I need receipts because Wednesday you took the Dolphins.
I said the Dolphins on Wednesday. And I looked at Pat, Pat.
That's interesting.
And I said, I'm feeling a flip.
Okay, that's convenient.
And I'll give you one more.
That's
Never
convenient.
R. Williams on Twitter tweeted me yesterday because I sent a tweet that said everything was screaming Buffalo. And I said I don't like that.
I need confirmation.
Somebody back me up over there. Angelo, Charles, Mike, Pat, somebody back me up that I took Buffalo last night. Somebody got me over there. All right?
Yeah, that's convenient.
And then I said everything was leaning Buffalo, and I don't know if I liked that. Never R. Williams tweeted me, and he goes, oh, so you're taking Miami? And I said, no, I'm taking Buffalo. So I got the receipt on Twitter, too.
Okay.
I already marked it as a dub, and that's in pen. So it is what it is. What's Tua going to do, man?
Hopefully retire.
He's going to have to. So that's what, his third recorded concussion, right?
No, it's got to be more than that.
I think I only saw 3.
Bro's been fencing like
Maybe
4
it's 3
times
this year. I don't know. So here's something that came out this morning from Spotrac. While a full recovery is the only focus here, in response to questions regarding his contract, here's where Tua sits. His deal included $167 million guaranteed for injury. $43 million of that was paid this past season. If he's medically cleared to return to football, but opts to retire, he forfeits $124 million, barring a custom settlement. Then the other side is if he is medically forced to retire, he has a right to collect that $124 million that is owed to him. I mean, at this point,
if you're the Dolphins,
you're asking yourself to be medically retired. Like,
if you're the Dolphins, do you still pay him? Even if they don't medically clear him?
I would say there have to be some sort of custom settlement. Now, you and I were talking before the show. These big contracts, teams take out insurance policies. They take out insurance policies. And I don't, this is a really sad one, too. Johnny Gaudreau had a giant contract with Columbus Blue Jackets. They're going to pay his family some of that money, and they will take out the insurance policy on that. And they will take the insurance policy out on Tua if he is forced to medically retire. They all sign that, and they give the insurance company a little piece, and they say, if we got to collect on this, we will, and it'll go to the courts, and they're going to have to bitch and moan through all that and figure it all out. But there is insurance policies on these things, and I'm sure they would probably try to collect that on the Tua deal. Then it opens up of what does Miami do? I always tie everything back to the Browns. That's one of the things that I do. If Miami has to go then find a quarterback next year, and the Browns might be in that same boat, that's not good for us. You want as least amount of teams possible vying for good quarterbacks. And Miami would become a destination where I don't foresee a lot of big-name free agent quarterbacks becoming available, right? But if there are, would you not pick Miami?
For sure. I'll throw to the Cheetah.
Odell?
And the Penguin.
Waddle? Got it all. Mike McDaniel? Take him for a leave it. What the was he thinking going for 4th down like that? What was he thinking? The next play, Cook rips off that run for a touchdown. I don't know what he was thinking. But anyway, we were all on Buffalo. Done and done.
Okay.
Done and done.
I'm getting gaslighted. They're
done and done.
They're all confirming you, but I know they're on your payroll.
Thank you.
They're on your payroll.
Thank you to our great listeners out there. They would not lie to you, Ryan. They would not lie to you. They would not lie to you. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I took Buffalo. Here we go. We start the Raiders making the trip on up to the Northeast, get some crab cakes, and facing Lamar Jackson. I have this as an 8.5-point spread. We start with the biggest on the slate for the weekend. It is the Ravens, 8.5-point favorites at home against the Raiders. I've got an over-under total on this one of... Wait a minute. I can't. Oh, I got to scroll down so far. Total is at 41.5, which is kind of a low one on here, but we'll see how it goes. We start on this one. Coming into this game, and this is a lot of first half against the spreads with Lamar Jackson, but in his career, this is a first half trend. He's only 8-10-1 against the spread in the first half, following a straight up loss in his last game. He's actually even worse at home in the first half, just 4-8 first half at home and 3-7-1 in the first half against the spread since 2021. But overall, in his career, Lamar is 51-31-2 first half in his career, making him the best first half quarterback in the NFL in that trend. Overall, over the past 4 seasons, though, Lamar is just 15-20 against the spread as a betting favorite, and only 7-17 against the spread when he's favored by more than 3 points. Under John Harbaugh, the Ravens are 12-5 against the spread in Week 1, being the most profitable Week 1 Bet Labs database, but they're just as good in Week 2. Under Harbaugh, 10-6 straight up in Week 2 under John Harbaugh. There was a write-up on Action Network. By the way, I got to shout out Evan Abrams, friend of the show, and the Action Network. They have so many great things when it comes to betting. Do you want to know what'll bring down Baltimore and was something we got to watch? Todd Monken, former Browns offensive coordinator. In his career, Ryan, as an OC, he is only 43-4 as an offensive coordinator against the spread. He's below 500. We got to take that into account as we go. Just talking about this against the Raiders. Favorites of 7 or more who are under 500 straight up on the season are 85-15 straight up since 2016, winning by an average of 10.6 points per game. So what that tells you again is a favorite of 7 or more points that has a losing record smokes the team that they play. So that would lean you towards Baltimore in that one. The only thing I really have is Gardner Minshew. And his role is the underdog and the favorite and all that kind of stuff. It actually tells you he's not good. In his career, Minshew is 9-4 straight up in his career when he's a betting favorite, but he is just 1-15 straight up in his last 16 starts when he is an underdog, going all the way back to 2020.
It's my goat. Chill on.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to rip on your friend there, Gardner Minshew. I've got it at 8.5. It opened at 6.5. It's already up there. People are betting it. Vegas is only 5-11 against the spread. Their last 16 games against Baltimore, they're only 4-12 straight up in their last 16. Vegas just 1-7 straight up their last 8 games on the road. That's a big number. I think Baltimore's going to be pissed off. Give me the Ravens, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm taking the Ravens too. Lamar Jackson, vintage game incoming. Antonio Pierce is on my fraud watch.
Oh.
Some of his play calling decisions going forward on 4th down or taking the field goal were very, very bad. Give me the Ravens.
All right, this week is very interesting where I've got 6 road favorites this week. One of them, the LA Chargers in Carolina to face Bryce Young and crew. I've got
Next.
Panthers, that's quick of you.
Next.
That's quick of you. I will also be going LAC, but let's go through the trends anyway. Even 5 on the road here for Jacksonville. Justin Herbert, 9-4 against the spread, all in the Eastern time zone. So he does well coming west in his career, including 5-2 against the spread when coming off a win and 4-0 against the spread since 2022. The Chargers weren't good on the road last year, just 3-5 against the spread on the road, but that broke an 11-year streak of finishing above 500 against the spread on the road. Herbert overall on the road, 18-13 against the spread in his career, including an 8-3 against the spread mark on the road in the months of September and October. So early on, he's pretty good. The under on this one, if you want it, 21-10 in Herbert's last 31 regular season starts. So the over seems to be the play. He's actually the second most profit. I'm sorry, that's the under. The under is 21-10 in Herbert's last 31 regular season starts. He's the second most profitable quarterback on an over-under that stretch, only behind Kenny Pickett.
Nice.
During that time. Let me get you the over-under for that real quick if you like to play there. 38.5. 39 some books.
Under.
But I kind of like it, on the under on that. The Panthers, underdog. Dude, can you believe this? The Panthers have been an underdog in 21 straight games. And 30 of their last 31 games, they've been an underdog. They were last favored in 2022, Week 15, against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Wow. They've lost 9 straight games against the spread as a favorite, but again, they've been dog. I'm trying to find a quick trend on that. Do we really need it? We don't need it. LAC all day.
Yeah. Is Control Alt or is Joe Alt Delete the best nickname in football?
That is pretty good. That is a pretty good one because he stood up. Didn't he?
He sunned Max Crosby.
Yeah, he was pretty. I think Max Crosby is a little overrated. Just a little. I still think he's good. I don't know if he's quite as elite as some people think. Only bad trend for this, the Chargers are only 1-6 against the spread their last 7 games against Carolina.
Okay.
But that goes back quite a little while there. So we'll both ride with the Chargers on that one. Next up, the Cowboys, 1-0, welcoming in the maybe resurgence Saints. What do you think of the Saints after week 1? Not all that impressed?
I'm not reading into that.
Not all that impressed?
Not
Cowboys back at home for their lid lifter at home. 6-point favorites. Here we go. Mike McCarthy comes into this game 21-13-1 against the spread in the first 2 weeks of the regular season, making him the 3rd best coach in weeks 1 and 2 in the last 20 years. He is 4-0 straight up and 3-1 against the spread with the Cowboys in his 4 years there in week 2. Let me see if I got any more Cowboys here for you on this. Not really. Okay, so let's go over to the Saints. Derek Carr in his career is just 28-40-1 against the spread after a win, which is the 4th least profitable in the NFL since 2003. Do you know the only active quarterback worse at covering after a win is Kirk Cousins? Keep that mind going. Dennis Allen, when a field goal or more underdog, his teams are 5-28 straight up.
Ass.
And he's also just 5-16-2 against the spread.
Ass.
Following a win. That is the 5th worst mark of 144 coaches in the last 20 years. Also, he is just 1-13-2 after a straight-up win November or earlier in his career. His only cover came against Brady Quinn in 2002. Dennis Allen, ass. Cowboys 6.
Oh, yeah. It's
Dallas.
It's at Dallas. It's ondy a touchdown. I'm not even thinking about it.
Not even thinking about it. A very intriguing game coming up.
What year did Quinn get drafted?
We drafted him in 07. What do you mean?
Then that's what I thought. But
he went to Denver. It wasn't in Cleveland. He left here and played in Denver for
You just said 2002.
2012.
Oh, that makes
2012.
That's why I was so confused.
I'm sorry, 2012 is the bet there. By the way, Cowboys 8-0 against the spread last year.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, 8-0 straight up at home, and they were 6-2 against the spread. And America's team, call for what you want, 6-1 straight up in their last 7 home openers. So that lends pretty well. I think this could be an intriguing game. I think this could be an ass kicking. The Bucks go up to play the Lions. Baker v. Goff, with the Lions being a heavy 7.5-point favorite at home, welcoming in the Bucks. Here we go for Jared Goff. He covered in week 1 with their win over the Rams.
This is bullshit.
Yeah, it kind of is. Goff is 12-3 against the spread in weeks 1 and 2 of his career. He's the best against the spread quarterback in week 1 and 2 in the last 20 years. He's also the most profitable against the spread quarterback over the past 5 years overall. Since 2020, Jared Goff is 20 games above 500 against the spread. He is 44-24 against the spread in his career. He's even better at home. Goff is 24-11 against the spread at home in his career. Inside, outside. Indoor, he's 36-17 against the spread, including 26-9 against the spread the last 4 seasons. You flip it over. Baker Mayfield started his career 2-6 against the spread. Since then, with the Bucs, he's gone 3-0 against the spread and straight up in early season games. Baker finished with 4 passing touchdowns, an interception, and just 1 sack on an 80% completion percentage. He's just the 3rd quarterback to post those numbers at week 1, joining Lamar Jackson and Len Dawson in his career. Todd Bowles in his career as an underdog, about even, 6-7 straight up. Baker Mayfield is just 12-36 straight up when he is the dog. It is a giant 7 on this one. Tampa Bay just 4-12 straight up in their last 16 games against Detroit, but they're 6-2 against the spread. Their last 8, Detroit just 3-7 straight up their last 10 games at home against the Bucs. I'll let you go first. Lions 7.5.
Yeah, I didn't love what I saw out of the Lions week 1. They should have lost that game. I thought Jared Goff didn't look great, but I wasn't on the Tampa train in the beginning of the season, and I don't think I'm ready to flip that. I'll go the Lions.
All right, we'll differ on this one. I'll take Tampa Bay. I think there might be a little shell shock there with Detroit, kind of off of that win. Kind of question yourself a little bit, so I'll take Tampa with that big number. This number probably would have been flipped had we had Jordan Love, but we don't. Up at Lambeau, Packers welcoming in Anthony Richardson and the Colts, one of the many road favorites this week. The Colts are a 2.5-point favorites in this game. Now, a lot of these trends are hard because Anthony Richardson hadn't been there, right? You just got the one game, really, the one game starting, and here we go. I question about the Packers with Malik Willis, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. Indy's going to win this game, and they're going to cover. I have no faith that Malik Willis, even with Matt LaFleur scheming it up, I don't really believe that. But since 2008, the Colts were just 2-14-1 straight up in week 1. They haven't won a week 1 game since Andrew Luck in 2013. But in week 2, even without Anthony Richardson and without all these other guys here, the Colts were 13-8 against the spread in the last 20 years in week 2. Ryan, they're 6-1 against the spread their last 7 games in week 2. Between weeks 1 and 4 last season, when Anthony Richardson started 3 games, he averaged 23 fantasy points per game. That was the 3rd highest mark in that stretch, only behind Justin Herbert and Josh Allen. In week 1 this past week, he was the 4th highest fantasy football quarterback a week ago. Packers played that neutral site game against the Eagles. Takes a good team to try to bounce back from a neutral site game, which again, a lot of times is what? Overseas. Teams listed as a favorite in the game following a neutral site game are 37-17 straight up in the last 20 years. That's not the Packers. They are an underdog who is just 17-29 straight up following a neutral site game. When those teams play on 10 days rest, though, they're actually 24-17. So it leans a little bit more towards the Packers coming off that trip, but I don't know if I quite buy that there. Matt LaFleur's Packers have been underdogs 33 times, and he's 22-11 by an average of 4 points a game covering. In the first 3 weeks of this regular season, though, Matt LaFleur is 13-3 in the first 4 weeks of the season against the spread. Trying to see here. Indianapolis 8-0 against the spread. Their last 8 games against an NFC North opponent. I'll take Indy on that one. I just don't believe in Malik Willis.
Yeah, I'd rather poop in my hand and clap than put money on Malik Willis.
Yeah, you can't do that. Please don't make me think of that. Why did you put that in my head? I don't really want to think about that because we got the worst game of the week coming up, and that's really what that is. But we'll get to it. It's not this one. Another road favorite, as the 49ers are up in Minnesota to take on Sam Darnold and crew. Of course, pretty impressive week week 1. Probably not going to have Christian McCaffrey again, and they get to see old friend Sam Darnold up there in Minnesota. Darnold, backup quarterback for the 49ers last year. In his career, Darnold actually not all that bad at covering. He is 23, 33-1 against the spread in his NFL career. On the road, he is just 10-19 straight up. And he's only 7-14 straight up versus teams above 500. And again, above 500, take that for what it is. Darnold is 8-11-1 against the spread, coming off of a win, though, but he's just 1-5 straight up in his last 6 games following a win. 49ers have covered in 5 straight road games back to last year. That's their longest streak in 4 years. In true road games, Shanahan is 8-2 straight up, with the 49ers on short rest Monday night, covering the spread by an average of 7 points per game. Coming into this one, 49ers, which is crazy. Don't forget last season, the 49ers were 7-point favorites against Minnesota and lost 22-17, which Brock Purdy threw a touchdown and 2 interceptions, and Christian McCaffrey had a horrible game. It's just 5. I got to take a dog, man. I've taken all favorites at this point. I don't like this. Can I really bet against the 49ers?
I mean, you can if you want.
God, give me the 49ers. All that for me, just take the favorite. I don't like it. Ryan?
Yeah, I'm taking the 49ers too. I mean, we go back to last year. I remember Sam Darnold week 1 looked like one of the best quarterbacks. I think people are a little high because they blew out the Giants, but I think when you go against the 49ers, I mean, that's a world different.
A little different there. All right, Seahawks welcoming the Patriots into town. Or, I'm sorry, no. Seattle is in New England, and they are a road 3-point favorite on this one. Patriots trying to pull off the upset. They're the only team that won of dogs of 3 points or more in week 1, and they are dogs of 3 points or more again here. In the last 20 years, 35 teams are trying to do with what the Patriots are doing and pulling off the upset again. The problem is those teams are just 6-29 in that stretch. New England was outright of 6-point dogs in week 1. They are 11-8-3 against the spread in week 2 over the past 20 years. That's a lot of Tom Brady. Geno Smith in his career comes in 10-16-1 against the spread as a favorite in his career. Of Geno's career, 10 career covers as a favorite, only 2 came when the opponent scored more than 20 points. And as a favorite of more than 4, which I have it at 3, but at 4, Geno Smith is only 2-8 against the spread in his career. Including as a road favorite of 3 or more, Geno is 4-0 straight up in his career. Those wins coming against the Rams, Titans, Cardinals, and Titans over the last 4 years. Last 4 games of his career. The Patriots haven't opened the season as underdogs of 3 or more in consecutive games since 2000. Something that they're going to do again this week. New England started 2-0 as dogs in both of those games. So again, to start as dogs in both games and win both, they haven't done that since 2002. Again, Brady, Belichick, all that other kind of stuff. Let's see if I get anything else quick here for you on this one. Seattle is 4-1 against the spread their last 5 games against New England. And 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games up there at Gillette. I got to take a dog. I don't know if I want to take it here, though. You know what? I will. Screw it, New England.
I was going to take New England.
Are you going to take New England, too?
I'm going to take New England, too. Yeah. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game.
Kenneth Walker's banged up?
I think they're going to have to run Ramondre 25 times again.
Maybe that's how they do it.
Seattle didn't wow me by any stretch of the imagination. At New England, I think they'll hang on to a field goal.
Here we go. Aaron Rodgers, Will Levis. It's the Jets down there in Tennessee. The road favorite, 3.5 for New York. And this one. The Titans led the Bears 17-0, losing 24-17 last week. Underdogs of 4+ points to lead by an average. How about this stat for how historic what Tennessee did in week 1? So they were 4-point dogs. They took a 17-point lead. since 2019. Those teams 66-1-1 against the spread. They were the first team in 68 games to have, again, be a dog of 4, to lead by 17 and still not cover.
Yep.
A historic collapse for the Titans. Of course, we know what the Jets had to do, taking on the 49ers. I actually think Aaron Rodgers looked fine, but it's a tough one. We'll see. The Jets are only the third team in the wild card era to begin their season playing on Monday Night Football and then have to go on the road in Week 2. The 2 other teams to have to do that both lost their next game. Only one of those teams did cover on that one. Teams coming off Monday Night Football on the road, then having to play on the road again, are just 12-21 straight up and 13-10 against the spread over the last decade. Aaron Rodgers in his career, 45-26-1 against the spread after a loss. A cover against the Titans, he would overtake Drew Brees as the best quarterback in the last 20 years against the spread following a loss. Let's see if I can get anything else here for you. Not really much. Over-unders 41.5. Jets minus 3.5. Titans. I'll let you go first here, Ryan.
I will take the Jets. Jets.
You like a lot of... I'm kind of with you. I like a lot of favorites in this one. I'll take the Jets as well. I just don't trust the Titans at all to cover this game. All right, this is... What did you say earlier about pooping in your hand and clapping?
I said I would rather poop in my hand and clap than put money on Malik Willis.
Well, that would be this game of the Giants taking on the Washington Commanders, because this is, without a doubt, the worst game of the week.
Bro, it's an NFC East classic.
Classic, man. 1.5 for the Commies at home. Let's start here. The Giants lost their opener last year. They lose the opener this year. They are the first team since the 2019-2020 Browns to lose back-to-back season openers by more than 20 points. The good news is they rally in Week 2 talking about the Giants. The Browns who did that, they came back at home, won their next game. The Colts who then did that, won their next game. So there is something to be said going back in history. But Daniel Jones, as far as the roller coaster of his career, is still 21-14 against the spread in his career following a loss. But he was only 1-3 straight up and 0-4 against the spread in that spot last season getting a loss, coming back to try to get a win. He's good in his career. He wasn't good last year. In his career against Washington, though, he owns them. He is 5-1-1 straight up and 6-1 against the spread in his career against Washington. Not much here for the Commanders just because they're so kind of new. Washington since 2003 are 69-95-8 against the spread at home, tying the Raiders as the least profitable home team against the spread. They've had 16 quarterbacks to start multiple games at home, and only one has a winning against the spread record, which is Alex Smith. Gosh, Jaden Daniels not there yet. We'll get it. Commies minus 1.5. Here's one of my dogs. Give me the Giants.
I'd rather poop in my hand and clap twice.
I get it.
Clap twice than put money on Daniel Jones.
Commies?
Yes.
I'll take the Commanders there. All right, a really intriguing game out west as the LA Rams travel down to take on the Arizona Cardinals. This is just a 1-point game favorited for the Arizona Cardinals. Again, Arizona seemed to be beaten up on Buffalo, lost that game. LA goes to overtime and loses it against the Lions. Matthew Stafford comes in just 8-5 against the spread in weeks 1 and 2 since 2018. And in fact, Stafford and McVay are on a 2-game straight-up losing streak in early season games. McVay was known as one of the hottest coaches early games in his career. He was 17-4 at one point in games in September. Now he's lost 3 straight, all by 7 points or more in the month of September. But McVay has owned the division. He is 17-1 against the spread against the NFC West. In the last 20 years, he is actually the 6th best against the spread coach against their own division. And they'll have that here against Arizona. McVay with Stafford as favorites, they are 28-4 straight up and only 4-11 straight up as underdogs. So that would lean very much towards Arizona. Kyler Murray facing the Rams has done it 9 times in his career. Kyler Murray is just 1-8 straight up, 1-7-1 against the spread against them, and losing 4 consecutive games and against the spread dating back to 2021. So Kyler Murray, he does not play the Rams well and doesn't cover. And in so fact, he has failed to cover the spread in his 9 games against the Rams by an average of 8.5 points. So it's not that he just loses to the Rams. He gets smoked by the Rams. This is just deep stuff on like his deep passes and that kind of stuff. That's all the betting trends that I have here. Yeah, man, everything just points the Rams in this.
Yes, it does.
Is that who you're taking?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I'll join you on that. Although no Puka.
Don't matter.
You'd have to go big with Cooper Kupp.
20 targets again.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, I'll join you on the Rams on that one. All right, marquee matchup 425 at GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium at Huntington Bank Field. That last part was a lie. It is the Chiefs' 6-point home favorites welcoming in, I'm just going to say it, the lowly Cincinnati Bengals. Here we are. Mahomes comes into this game 16-4 straight up and 12-8 against the spread in his career in the month of September. That 16-4 mark is the best any month in Patrick Mahomes' career for profitability. But he is only 38-42-4, which is a winning percentage against the spread of just 48 in his career of being a favorite by more than 3 points. Now, some of those numbers I think are gaudy, right? When he was taking teams out 9 and 10. This is 6, and it is Cincinnati. Chiefs own the longest against the spread win streak. They have a 7 straight cover streak right now for the Chiefs. And Mahomes himself has an against the spread streak of 6 games, which is tied for the highest quarterback currently. After a Chiefs win, Mahomes is 45-12 straight up and 32-24-1 in his next game. But when the spread is 7 or shorter, he is 22-13 against the spread following a win. You flip it over for the Bengals here. As an underdog of more than 4 points, Joe Burrow is 10-2 against the spread in his career. And I'll give you one better. When he has Jamar Chase and a dog of more than 4 points, he is 4-1 straight up, and he's covered all 5 of those games.
Don't care.
You don't care.
I don't care. You can't pick up a Gatorade bottle.
Yeah, I know. That was a big that was a big thing. That was a big part. Bad trend early in the season. First 2 games of the season, Zach Taylor is 1-10 as a head coach, and Joe Burrow is 1-8 in those games.
Trash.
I know. I don't think Zach Taylor is very good. Against the spread, Joe Burrow is just 2-7 against the spread in the first 2 games of the year. That mark is tied with Kirk Cousins for the worst of any of the 60 quarterbacks that have played the last couple of years. So basically, here's what I'm looking at to divide this up. Mahomes after a win is electric. Joe Burrow as a dog of this amount is electric, but it's early in the season. That's not good for Cincinnati. I'm assuming you're leaning Kansas City on this one.
Yeah, I'd be correct.
I'm riding Cincy. I don't know if they win. What? What? They're not going to win, but I think they'll cover.
No.
Cincinnati it is. All right, last late slate game, 425 at Ohio Mark. It is the Broncos welcoming in Justin Fields. He's back, right? It's Justin Fields, right?
I haven't heard anything about Russ.
Okay,
being
here
out.
we go. This is our final road favorite of the week. It is the Steelers, 2.5. I thought it was going to be more. I really thought it was going to be more. Of course, Pittsburgh coming off their big win over Atlanta, and the Broncos struggling in Bo Nix's debut. Since 2002, the two teams with the most straight-up wins at home in September are the Seahawks at 32-7 and the Broncos at 32-10 at home in the month of September. They rock. The problem is Denver is just 3-6 straight up in their last 9 games at home in the month of September. Not been so good. Broncos under at home has been the play. 16-10 the last 4 years and 47-29-1 since 2015. Those are all better than 500 at home with the under. In 17 seasons, Sean Payton's teams are 13-4 against teams above 500. But that includes betting dogs of 14 and or better at okay.
You got it.
I got it.
Try again.
17 seasons. Sean Payton's teams are 13-4 above 500 against the spread, including above 500 against the spread or better as dogs. Sounds like they're a good spot right there. I don't really know what that screwed me off there. Now for the bad. Sean Payton is only 4-12 against the spread in week 2 as a head coach. That's the worst of his career, and he's one of the worst coaches in the last 20 years, to be honest with you. Sean Payton hasn't covered in week 2 since 2016. Steelers 21-14-1 against the spread since the end of the Roethlisberger era. Pittsburgh is the 3rd most profitable team in the NFL in that span, only behind the Lions and the Giants. Tomlin is 41-28-1 against the spread as a road dog, but as a road favorite, he is 32-40-2. Not great on the road for Mike Tomlin, being as the favorite on the road. Justin Fields in line to start this game. It is at Highmark. Steelers -3. What do you got?
I will take the Steelers. I think they're going to 0 touchdown their way to another win because that's just what the Steelers do.
I think that's what it is. Sunday Night Football, Houston. Welcoming in Caleb Williams and crew. This is the Texans, a gaudy 6.5-point favorite at home on Sunday Night Football. We start with this one. Caleb Williams was the 19th quarterback since the merger to go number 1 overall and start week 1 of his draft year. Those quarterbacks were just 4-14-1 straight up and 6-13 against the spread in week 1. What did Caleb Williams do? He won and he covered.
By not throwing a touchdown.
Which I completely understand. The Bears have only started 2-0 against the spread once since 2006. And it was also the last time back in 2018. That's the last time they did it. That's the last time they've also had an above 500 record.
Right.
So a little misnomer, or it could be a good trend for them as we go. Excuse me. The Bears entered week 1 losing 17 consecutive games straight up when trailing entering the 4th quarter. Their last win came in 2022. They broke that streak by doing it against the lowly Titans. CJ Stroud has made 18 starts in his NFL career. He is 6-3 against the spread as an underdog, but he's only 3-6 in his career against the spread as a favorite. This will be Stroud's 2nd primetime game. He beat the Colts 23-19 in Indy last year as a 1.5-point favorite. He's at home with a much bigger mark here. It's not like the Bears have had great history in primetime either. Over the last 20 years, in primetime games, the Bears are just 12-28-2 against the spread. They are the 3rd least profitable team in that stretch in primetime games, joining the Bucs and the Dolphins. And if they are a favorite, the Texans in primetime is a favorite of more than 3, just 3-10-1 against the spread. Texans 6.5, Bears. I'm taking Chicago.
All right, I will go Houston. I don't think CJ Stroud's not going to turn the ball over like Caleb Williams or like Will Levis. So give me the Texans.
Do you want to run through quickly all of our picks?
Yeah, please.
All right, Ravens -8.5 against the Raiders. We both take Baltimore. Chargers 5-point road favorites against Carolina. We both take the Chargers. We'll both take Dallas -6 at home against the Saints. We differ. Lions Bucks. Lions 7.5-point favorites. You'll take Detroit. I will take Tampa. We both take Indy 2.5-point favorites on the road against the Packers. We'll both take the 49ers to cover up in Foxborough against the Patriots -3. We will both take the Jets on the road 3.5-point favorites against the Titans. We differ. Washington Giants. I will take the Giants +1.5.
That's crazy.
You will take Washington -1.5.
That's crazy.
That game is in Washington. We both take the Rams to beat the Cards, or at least cover -1 against the Cards. We'll take differ here. I'll take Cincinnati +6 against Kansas City. You will take the Chiefs -6. We'll both take Pittsburgh -2.5 in Denver. And Sunday night, I'll take Chicago +6.5. You will take Houston -6.5. You want to do this? You want to break, rip through grid, quick morning update, time hop.
Sounds good.
We get to our Browns bets.
Sounds good to me.
Stay tuned for it. Fontana Show right here in Big Play. Got plenty coming.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like ass. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just, that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Even though our strength of schedule was #1 in the NFL, I think we have the dogs up front. We have the dogs in the back as it relates to our defense. Our defense alone keeps us in these games. Not even talking about offense. Let's just say Deshaun Watson isn't there. We got dogs on the defensive side that's mirroring the potential of the Ravens from 2001 or 2000 Ravens with Jamal Lewis and the boys and Ray Lewis and those guys.
Right.
They won, again, no disrespect to Trent Dilfer, but they won without a high-powered offense.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, tis the Law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky Derby.
All right, lot to get to. We'll do morning update. We'll get to the grid. We got to get to our Browns plays for this week. Maybe a little Guardians tonight as well. But first, Ryan's got all the stories you got to know. Call it the morning update.
Alrighty, we'll start with the Guardians. Didn't talk about them yet, but they fall to the Tampa Bay Rays 5-2 at home in that opener. Gavin Williams goes 5 1/3 inning pitched, allows 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, but ultimately they lose. They look to bounce back today. Tanner Bybee on the mound, Zach Little for the Rays.
You know, it just comes back to like what Gavin Williams are you going to get? And it's either he's electric, looks like a Cy Young guy, or he gives a couple home runs. The Guardians were in that game. Like, I felt like they were trying to scrap it back out there. Bats kind of went silent. It's a tough loss. I mean, it just comes back to what and it's like hard because I wanted to say I didn't think Gavin Williams pitched all that bad. But you got that liner to get the guy out at second, which really helped. And I think there was another time that he had to get out of like a 2-on with 1 out situation or something like that. 5 1/3. He just gave up the 3 runs, which is probably more of kind of what I'm talking about there. I don't know, man. That's tough. And then a hard part was with where the bullpen was at. You had to go to Sobrowski. Then when Avila gave up that run, you knew the game was kind of over. Like you couldn't go to your guys to maintain it. But the bats really didn't show up in that game. What'd you crank out? 5 hits. You had 2 errors, which you didn't want to have. And nobody had more than 1 hit. The good thing is all 5 of the hits came from our 5 guys at the top of the lineup. But it's going to be tough to win that way. All right, Tampa got 1. Got Bobby on the hill tonight. We'll get to our plays later. Must-win game for the Guards tonight.
The second edition of Thursday Night Football for this season is in the books. The Bills crushed the Dolphins 31-10. Josh Allen just 1 touchdown, but James Cook 3 total touchdowns, 1 receiving, 2 rushing. But the story of the night, of course, Tua Tagovailoa gets his 3rd confirmed concussion for the Miami Dolphins, and now he must consider early retirement.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so even just talking about in the right now, he's not playing next week. You don't know when he's going to be cleared again. I would imagine the doctors have to go in looking at it differently because he's had so many concussions. But what do the Dolphins do? I mean, trust me, I feel bad for Tua. I legitimately feel bad for Tua. But that's one less team that's seems to taking a hit now in the wild card or in the playoff standings. Miami's probably going to have to go get a quarterback. Skylar Thompson going to do it for you? Probably not. Got to go get Jimmy Garoppolo. It just sucks to see. And it comes back to like my biggest thing that I didn't like about Tua is his size. And you might be saying, well, how could size be different? Bro, when you're that small, you're just going to take hits to the head. And I know that 1 hit, he was lowering his head, he lowered his shoulder, then he hit the ground again. It's just got to be a body type thing. And I feel bad for Tua. Eventually, I think it's going to have to come out. He's going to have to medically retire. How could he not? That sucks. You don't like seeing that kind of stuff, but yeah, Mike McDaniel already said, I don't see how Tua is going to be able to play next week. So that's a big hit there for a potential playoff contending team.
Alrighty, well, speaking of the Browns, an attorney representing the plaintiff in a civil lawsuit accusing Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson of sexual assault and battery told ESPN that the NFL will be meeting with the woman, in 2 weeks. And Tony Busby wrote in an email, quote, "We have a video and 2 additional witnesses for the NFL to speak with." He called that video pertinent, Matt.
This is going to go bad, isn't it?
I unfortunately could very well see
I think
bad.
This is going to go bad. Really bad. I think like a lot of people that you're Browns fans, you don't like Deshaun Watson. I don't blame you for that. I get it. Don't you just have this mounting feeling that it's going to go pretty bad? Right? And it'll be the argument about why they traded for him or why he was here, and you wasted this time, you wasted these draft picks, you wasted all that money. I get it. But don't you just have this building feeling and momentum that this is going to go really bad? I don't know. You got to let this process play out. It's all going to come back to these interviews and all that kind of stuff, but it's not looking good, is it? It's not really looking good for Deshaun Watson as far as his future goes with the Cleveland Browns. I hope maybe I'm wrong, but that feeling is starting to mount by the day, Ron.
All right, well, lastly, for the morning update, the Minnesota Twins released minor league catcher Derek Bender on Thursday after he told opposing hitters the type of pitches that were coming to the plate during at-bats in the game last week that eliminated his team from playoff contention. Bender, a 6th-round draft pick out of Coastal Carolina. He was playing for the Fort Myers Mighty Muscles. That's, of course, the Twins' single-A affiliate.
He wanted the season to end and inevitably ended his career. You think anybody's going to sign that guy? Why would you not want to keep playing? You've had enough of the season. Could you imagine if Travis Bazzana did that? By the way, shout out to the captains in the Eastern League playoffs right now.
Hell
go
yeah.
Captains, let's go. Could you imagine Travis Bazzana going, I don't want to play anymore. I don't feel like playing anymore.
I don't really feel like it.
Yeah, I don't really feel like that guy who got a signing bonus like $200,000 or something like that. Yeah, keep that. Bro, I don't think anybody will ever pick you up again to play professional baseball because you wanted your season to end early.
Not a baseball guy.
Clearly.
Not a baseball guy.
Not a baseball guy. Be done with it. And I thought when it first came out, I was like, was he tipping because somebody's paying him?
That's
or he's
what
getting
I
betting?
thought. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
No. And they found out because the other team, the players went back to their coach.
What
like,
do you
dude,
do? Just be like, psst, psst.
Hey, man, it's a fastball. Hey. Some Bull Durham stuff. Fastball at the letter. Kevin Costner goes, here comes a fastball. He goes, really? He goes, yes. And he hits it and he goes, come on, don't show my pitcher up. Get moving. He told him to stick Bull or Durham a little bit there, but not Bull Durham. Who was... What the hell? Nuke. Calvin Nuke LaLoosh and Crash Davis. That was it. Yeah, here comes. Because you won't want to play anymore. Whatever. He's never playing again. That sucks for that guy. Made a mistake. I'm sure he'll say, it's just a momentary mistake or whatever. Like, okay. That's one of the worst things you could do.
Yeah,
you basically sold your pitcher out.
You did.
You sold your pitcher out. Hopefully he enjoys his next career. We got openings here at Big Blood. Come on up, buddy. Come on up. All right. Maybe he can help us with the grid a little bit. This is just practice for next week. We just got to start in a good spot. We'll get better for next week.
Yes.
The big giveaway.
Yes.
For next week when we get there. But for right now, just practice. Let's roll. You know how it works. Go.
10 plus sacks. TJ Twat.
I don't know if you can say that, but okay.
Twat?
What?
Twat?
Yeah.
Why can't I say that?
I mean, technically, we can say whatever you want. I don't know if that's a word we want to be saying here on the show, but you
Whatever.
do. Probably Terrell Suggs, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he played
What's
either
the
one.
other thing I can't say?
What?
Ready to
Yeah,
crumble.
stop
I
that.
said crumble.
I hope you did. Ken's standing right out there. He's going to have to cut a check to Michael Buffer. And
Why did I almost type Terrell Owens?
Don't do that.
Who am I tuning? Terrell Suggs?
Terrell Suggs. Yeah, T-Sizzle, baby.
Let's get ready to jumble. Bumble.
I don't know if he had it in a season. DeMarcus Ware? Probably Von Miller. Yeah, probably Von Miller. All right, here we go. Eagles. I'm just going to... Shady McCoy. Any of those other spots? No. Alshon Jeffrey. Any of those other spots? No. Mike Vick. Yeah, Mike Vick.
Yeah. Didn't he also play for the Ravens? Or am I tripping?
No. I don't think so.
Am I tripping?
I think you're tripping. There's one. There should be an easy one right there, I think.
Did Torrey Smith play for the Eagles?
If we need to get down to it, I like that one.
That's Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah. Wait. Doesn't Nelson Aguilar also work for the Raiders and the Ravens? Did Nelson Aguilar play with the Raiders? Do you not remember that?
No,
Am I making that up?
I think you're right.
Okay, so let's hold that off there. Can you think of a Baltimore Raider?
Baltimore Raider.
The Baltimore Raider.
A Las Vegas Raven.
Yeah. Or can you think of another Baltimore Eagle?
I think I'm more likely going to come with the Baltimore Raider.
Okay, Baltimore Raider. There's no quarterbacks that come to mind. Like RG3 didn't go there. Flacco's not played there. Kyle Bowler, I don't think so. Hasselbeck, I don't know. Shoot. Like, obviously, I'd read on Ray Lewis. I don't know, man. You want to move off, and then we'll come back so we know we have Alshon Jeffrey for one of those?
Sure.
All right.
Raiders, Steelers.
That
Gotta be a quarterback, maybe.
D'Angelo Williams? Did he play in Vegas?
I don't remember that.
Okay. No, I don't know about a quarterback because It was Roethlisberger for so long. I mean, the Raiders have had, Jimmy Garoppolo. Mitch Trubisky's never played in Vegas. Gardner Minshew doesn't work for any of those other ones, even though he's not played a game with the Raiders.
Let's go to Broncos.
Okay.
Eagles, Broncos.
Well, no, wait. Go Raiders. Oh, no, it's Charles Woodson and Rod Woodson. Right? Charles Woodson played with the Raiders. Rod Woodson played with the Broncos, right?
I know Charles Woodson. I don't know.
I think that's how that goes, so I don't think that works. There's a legacy player. It's not Shannon Sharp. He's not going to be suspended. You see that?
I mean, yeah. I don't think
how can you really? Is what it is. Right? No, it's... Oh, man. Okay, Marshawn Lynch didn't play in Denver.
Oh, Raiders, Steelers, Doy. Antonio Brown.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, he didn't play there. I don't think he played there.
Antonio Brown?
Yeah, he went to Tampa. I don't think so.
Dude, what?
He was an off season. He left there before he played a game.
Bruh.
That's
Bruh.
Right. That's right.
Bruh.
That's right.
Bruh.
Because then he went to the Patriots.
Wow.
Just want to give up.
Yeah, I'm depressed.
I mean, this is all practice. Go down and see the players just so we can,
Deshaun Jackson.
Martavis Bryant.
Brian Dawkins.
Oh, yeah. I forgot Brian Dawkins went there for a year.
I don't like the grid.
Why?
It makes me sad.
But when we get it, it's like emotional, It's a lift, and we get the giveaway. It's great. People are screaming at us.
Yeah, people are screaming at us.
I would be too. All right. I have a short time up if you want to get it.
You want to?
All right, let's do short time up. We'll get ready to go for the Browns. Let's roll to it. All right, we head on back to this day in history. Friday the 13th, September 13th. The date, what do we got? Including the season opener for the Browns back in 2020. Now, thankfully, it turned around better than it started. I remember this game vividly. Ravens smoke us 38-6. Baker a touchdown and an interception. Lamar threw 3 touchdowns. J.K. Dobbins rushed for 2 touchdowns. And again, it turned around because we ended up making the playoffs. But I remember that game. It just got smoked. We scored in the first quarter and got shut out the rest of the way out. David Njoku caught the only touchdown in that game. Wasn't there a fake punt that went bad in that game? Am I misremembering that?
I don't remember.
Why do I try to remember that Jamie Gillen fumbled a punt or had they ran a fake punt? Hang on. That's it. First quarter. Okay, Baker starts the game with an interception. They go down the field, score. We then, on our next one, it's 4th and 4. Jamie Gillen runs to the right for -2 yards and fumbles the ball, recovered by Baltimore. Nice. I don't remember if he botched the snap or if it was a straight fake run. I think it was a straight fake run, if memory serves me. Then we missed a field goal, another fumble, another punt, but obviously 2020 worked out for us making the playoffs. This day, 2015 Browns season opener, we fall to the Jets 31-10. This was the game that Josh McCown went helicopter going into the end zone. Johnny Manziel had to come in, and we fall 31-10. to the Jets this day 2015. This day 1996, Tupac passes away 6 days after he had been shot. Now they said they got the guy, right?
I don't know, dude.
I think they said they caught the guy that was in. They know the car that it was and all that, and I think they got the guy that, I don't know if you ever admit to it, but I think they think they found the person that shot Tupac. This day, 1985, Super Mario Brothers was released in Japan for NES.
Nice.
That's always a great one. You know when he says, "It's a me Mario," people think he's saying, "It's a me Mario," and in Japanese, it just means, "My name is Mario."
Really?
But we Americanized
It's a me.
to think it says,
Mario.
"It's a me." It's really not. How about this one? What were you doing when you were 17?
Oh,
Finishing up high school?
probably not a lot of good things.
Yeah. Well, Bob Feller was 17 years old, this day 1936, when he set an AL record striking out 17 batters. And he would actually go back to Van Meter High School after the season to finish out and graduate.
What a dog.
What'd you do this summer? Oh, set an AL record by striking out 17.
Probably got so many chicks.
He probably did. This day, 1883, one-armed Hugh Daly threw a no-hitter for the Cleveland Blues.
Is he actually one arm?
Yeah, Hugh Daly. I don't know. I can't confirm that, but I wrote here that he has one arm.
Oh.
Hang on. Hugh Daly, American baseball player. He was a professional right-handed pitcher who played 6 seasons. He lost his left hand to a gun accident earlier in his life. So he had his arm, but he just didn't have a hand. To compensate, he fixed a special pad over the affected area and caught the baseball by trapping it between the pad and his right hand. So you'd throw it, and he'd go like this. And he was a right-handed pitcher, and he threw a no-hitter this day, 1883. So there you go. Do you know about Phineas Gage? Did you ever learn about him in school?
Yeah, the frontal lobe.
Yeah, that happened this day, 1848. He was impaled by an iron rod through his eye from a dynamite explosion from a railroad, and that opened up, it changed his, all that stuff, frontal lobe. Phineas Gage, it's 1884. Very happy birthday goes out to former Browns quarterback Mike Pagel, Devon Bess, and Ben Savage. Short day on the birthdays. 3 television shows. They're all TV shows for you today. You ready? This day, 1995. This was a sitcom, fictional show, but based and set in the great city of Cleveland with one of the most famous Clevelanders of all time.
The Drew Carey Show?
That is correct.
Let's go.
The Warsaw, Winford Louder. I just found out Drew Carey's streaming now. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch. I loved that show, man. It was a great show growing up.
OnlyFans or something else?
No, it's on something else.
No.
I'd actually pay money on OnlyFans to watch Drew Carey show. If
That
they were
is
like Drew Carey
so
show
sus.
is only on OnlyFans,
Pause.
I would pay a couple dollars a month. Whatever. It's not a conversation for today. Because I would say I don't understand the allure of OnlyFans, but then I also very much get it for some of the people. Kid show. It's all free, man. It's all free. And I get that you get hooked up and, you really just like drinking bath water from these chicks and all that kind of stuff.
You don't like that?
I don't get it. And especially the people that have
There's nobody's bath water
thousands of dollars. Maybe we should start an OnlyFans. You want my leftover coffee after every show?
I don't.
can sell that.
Somebody probably does.
Start selling that if you want. I for the life of me don't get it. But I do. When you have, and it's like the thousands of dollars that some of these, you have that much disposable income, and that's what you want to spend it on? Each their own. All right, next up, this day, 1990. God, I wish I could play the theme for you because you get the theme right away. If I went dun 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 dun.
Law and Order.
Law and Order's correct. Very nice. There it is, Law and Order. Final one this morning. We go all the way back to 1969. Nice. Group of youngsters.
It's a TV show?
Yes. Group of youngsters.
Little Rascals.
No. Out and about to foil.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, that's correct.
Let's go.
Scooby-Doo is correct. The OG Scooby-Doos are goated. The Martian, the Pirate, the Abominable Snowman. still hold up to this day. Did you ever play that Scooby-Doo Night Fright video game back in the day for like Xbox? I forgot how old you were. That game was so good, too. Scooby-Doo is correct. There we go. All right, folks, it is that time. Browns, Jags. Want to update our Twitter question this morning. We sent it out to everybody. We asked, what are you expecting for Deshaun Watson this weekend against the Jacksonville Jaguars? I ran a tweet out this morning to tell you how good Watson has been in his career against Jacksonville. He's 6-0. He averages over 320 yards in those games, only 2 interceptions. This should be a bounce-back game for him. Ryan, what do we got? What are people expecting out of Watson this weekend?
Yeah, well, the majority, 46.4%, they say an improvement.
Good.
30.3, same as week 1. 23.4 say even worse.
And the problem is, I guess there's only one way to go, and that is up for improvement. It's time for our bets. I've got this as an even 3 for Jacksonville this weekend. We start. Trevor Lawrence, 24-29 against the spread in his career. But he is 19-17 against the spread under Doug Peterson. Lawrence has lost 6 consecutive starts dating back to November of last season, including 3 straight starts as a favorite. Overall, in his career, Trevor Lawrence is 8-9 straight up as a favorite. He is one of 8 quarterbacks under 500 as a favorite with at least 10 starts over the last 20 years. He joins Kerry Collins and Kyler Murray as the worst quarterbacks to be favorited and have a record under 500. Deshaun Watson coming into this game is still 33-34-2 against the spread in his career, but he is just 14-20-2 against the spread as a favorite, which he was last week and ended up losing. Watson is 19-14 against the spread in his career as an underdog, but overall, Watson is just 3-7 straight up and against the spread in the first 2 weeks of the season in his career. Last week, he was sacked 6 times, the most of any quarterback in week 1. No quarterback had fewer than 200 passing yards on 45 attempts in week 1. It's only been done twice in the regular season since 2015. Watson's last 300-yard game goes back to 2021. Browns are 8-16 against the spread versus the AFC North under Kevin Stefanski. Wait, what's that got to do with anything? Non-AFC North teams? I don't know. Kevin Stefanski is 0-4 against the spread coaching in week 2s. That's the most against the lot spreads. Kevin Stefanski is 0-4 against the spread in week 2. That is the most against the spread losses without a win for any coach in the last 20 years.
Wow.
He's not good in week 2. Trends for this game. Over-under is set at 41.5, by the way. Public money, very much on the side of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm sure they are.
Yep. Let's see what I can get you here. Browns are just 1-4 against the spread their last 5 visits to Jacksonville. Jags are 6-3 in their last 9 games as a favorite and 6-3 in their last 9 against the spread. Overall trends for this. 1-4 against Jacksonville in their last 5. But they are 4-2 straight up in their last 6 games when playing on the road down there in Jacksonville. And I mentioned they don't really cover in week 2. Jacksonville 2-5 against the spread their last 7 games. And they are 0-5 straight up in their last 5 games against an AFC opponent. It is 3. We need it. And I'm going to give it to you. Go Browns, baby! 3. Give it here. Come on now. Come on. I got to have it. I have to have it this week. You'll give me the 3. I'll take them. I got to take the Cleveland Browns. Ryan?
I will be taking the Jacksonville.
Oh, come on.
-3. Listen, I expect the defense to show up, okay? I think they will. The thing is, it boils down to Deshaun Watson. We've been saying this forever. It's going to be that way the whole season. And until I see him actually be able to be a competent quarterback, I have a hard time betting the Browns.
I guess. I get where you're going. There's a way that they have to play near perfect to get it done. I guess we'll see. All right, Guardians tonight taking on the Rays. Bye beyond the hill for us. We are a favorite in this one. We are 185 plus 125 on run and a half, over under set at 7.5. Bybee, a win, a loss, a no decision in his last 3 starts. He's given up 8 runs over his last 3 starts, and he struck out 16. Little on the hill there for the Rays. Same thing. A win, a loss, a no decision in his last 3 starts. He's only given up 5 runs over his last 3 starts, which is pretty impressive. Averaging about 5 runs per start. 5 innings per start. But he has only struck out 9 over his last 3 starts. So there you go on that. Give me Bybee, 4 strikeouts. Give me the Guardians win. And I'd like to get a good record against this little guy. Give me somebody that you like the under for tonight.
What's the
7.5? Unders hit out of Tampa Bay's 4 out of their last 5 games and 8 out of their last 11 on the road. 7 out of their last 8 games here in Cleveland. Under 4 out of Cleveland's last 5 and 6 out of their last 9 at home. Give me Bybee, 4 strikeouts, Guardians money line,
in the under,
and a hit.
Okay,
a hit for somebody. I got to look through record. I got to look through.
Keep riding the Lane Thomas train.
You want to you like the Lane Thomas train there?
Yeah, I do.
All right, do that. Get it done. Go Guards. Go Browns. Get it done. Enjoy the hell out of the weekend. We're back on Monday. Plenty coming up. We'll talk to you then. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.